Well, thank you especially for joining us during Ramadan as well. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, absolutely.
You're going to be talking to us now about PR in the digital era, so I'll let you run with it, and I'll speak to you with a Q&A later.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, yeah, once again, thank you everybody for joining. Really great opportunity for me to be part of this amazing and inaugural virtual summit, the first of its kind. I think we'll have many more in the days to come and the years to come probably, but without the pandemic, hopefully. My name is Tariq Al Sharabi, as Maya said. I'm the Managing Director of Cicero Bernay. PR is a local agency here in Dubai, independent agency, started up about 15 years ago, and still going strong. And so yeah, maybe what we could do is just break the ice by showing you guys a video, and then I'll dive into it straight away. So Anna, if you don't mind, the video.
And today, with the rise of social media, increasing numbers of people can bypass the media establishment.
And audio content is massively on the rise in our society.
The explosive growth in video and the use of video is just, as I'm sure all of you know.
New age communication.
Digital PR or blogger relations or influencer marketing. And
everything is through digital communication.
All right, so I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen this meme. It went global. The reason I put it up was just for, I think it's quite funny. I think the meme with the African pallbearers is just, everyone saw it all over the world. This meme went viral in weeks, especially when the pandemic started. And I think this kind of, gives us an entry into this topic where we see something like this, a meme, a 15-second video go viral, being used in all shapes and forms, being shared with through different mediums, whether it's social media or WhatsApp or so on. This is the new era we live in now. Something like this can have such a big impact on people and what they do. And this is, and I thought to myself, you know what? It's always about people either being in a very tough situation or people about to die, and then they show the pallbearers. And I thought, can we link it to traditional PR? Because people keep asking, what is happening to traditional PR? What's going to happen with traditional PR after the pandemic? A question that's always been asked. And I thought, is traditional PR dead? I still pose this question. I don't know. I can't answer you. Maybe we can discuss it at some other time. But all I can say is that there is definitely a shift, especially in this part of the world. I mean, most of the stuff I'm going to be saying today will be from a perspective from the Middle East, mainly the UAE and Dubai. So if we look to the next slide, one thing that's happening here is in the Middle East, there's also a need to define PR. There's still a bit of a confusion between certain people and certain clients. Some clients, even sometimes when we go as an agency and propose a social media campaign, and they say, why are you guys proposing social media, but you're a PR agency? Yes, we are a PR agency, and social media is just as relevant to us, or it's just down our lane as anything else. Look at the word social. That's what we do. PR. It's all about affecting society and changing perception. And then media. PR is all about media. So PR is everything that has effect on a company's brand. Anything that changes people's perception. We are the safeguardians, I guess, of clients and brands. So PR is not just about sending out a press release. It's everything that we can do to actually have a positive impact on society, and using many tactics. Social media is one of them. Traditional PR in this part of the world is usually known as media relations. But if we go to the next slide, what's happening now is we're shifting from just being a sort of one-trick pony, as they say, or being a niche discipline, to really encompassing all, let's say, different tactics and methodologies. So at CMB, I could say to you that about 5 years ago, we hired a creative director. I think it maybe was a first, or it wasn't very common in this part of the world to have a creative director for a PR agency. Right now, we have a creative director, we have an SEO specialist, we have a team dedicated to influencer marketing. And they're very busy every day. I don't know what they do because it's quite scientific now. A lot of data to go through, a lot of research and auditing to go through, a lot of mixing and matching to see which influencer would fit with the brand persona. So there's so many different disciplines and so many different sciences now that come under one umbrella, which is all PR. And that's why I say it's not just about, we have to be jacks of all trade. You cannot just be an account executive with client servicing and then have your copywriters in one room and that's it. You have to, your staff have to be very, very aware and up to date with what's happening in the world. And that's why an agency should have jacks of all trade, and this way the agency becomes a master of all. There is no way that you can survive in this industry, especially after this pandemic. And we've seen what it's done after we got locked down, after we got stuck behind our computers at home, how creative we became. I can tell you as an agency, for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the pandemic, we did not issue a single press release. Maybe for the government clients, of course, but for the other private companies, not a single press release. We went straight to video, we went to digital, we went to social media. And let's look at the facts. If you go to the next slide, I'll share with you some interesting facts about this part of the world. If you look at I'm sorry, I have to just look at my numbers here because I can't see it on the screen. We have video, YouTube, the #1 social media platform after Google. All right, we've got 3 hours that an average person in the UAE spends on social media per day. We have the #1 messaging app being WhatsApp with 7.7 million active users. That's 3/4 of the population on WhatsApp. And then what's very interesting is podcasts. In the UAE, 1.3 million people listen to podcasts. Can you imagine that? That's another 15 or 20% of the population. And the newcomer on the block, TikTok, 2 million active users already in the UAE. So next slide, let's talk digital. What is digital? It's about repurposing content. Look, our main discipline remains the same. We remain ethical to our clients. We remain ethical in the messages, in the narratives that we issue. We remain the most trusted and most credible marketing tool or marketing discipline. But right now, it's about the change. So let me give you an example. Right now, instead of doing a press release, what we've done is we're issuing video news releases. An interview became a webinar or a podcast. An interview became a podcast, I'm sorry. And podcast went from audio to video now. Press conferences have become webinars. Feature articles. No one wants to read 700 words anymore. They've become digestible, snackable, we call them, snackable content, which is native clickbait content. That's what PR agencies are doing. That's what we're doing now. And that's the future of PR. In terms of memos, how many memos have we written for our clients during the pandemic with regards to hygiene, safety, their well-being, reassuring them? Who's going to read all that? We actually did so many WhatsApp videos. We've done videos specifically for WhatsApp to share them with our clients, that they can share them with their staff to get them a bit reassured. Getting a memo is by itself quite dry. So this is it, I guess. Look, I mean, I don't have much time, but if we go to the next slide, this comes with challenges. Let's take TikTok, for example. TikTok, I mean, I'm still trying to understand what it is. And there's no time. By the time I understand, by the time I'm still trying to research it, I realize that there's 2 million people already in the city I live in that are on TikTok. And these are active clients for my customers for my clients. What do I do? How do I take TikTok? How do I tame it? How do I use it? How do I understand it? How do I benefit from it? We look at other technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain. There's so much happening around us that we really, really have to be the challenge is keeping abreast, understanding it, sticking to our core, making sure that we lead, and utilizing all of this technology, keeping up with it. Look, in the past, you would send out a press release and it's in the paper, the next day it's gone. But now everything is online, it doesn't go away. And you have to be so quick to respond to any feedback that you might get from the target audience. You never know what sort of repercussions could happen. So this is something that, this is one of the challenges that we might face, but we have to be very, very quick to adapt with. The next slide is quite interesting, and it's about being a consultancy. Look, I think this kind of wraps up everything that I've been trying to say. It is remaining an agency, of course, but being consultants. We're moving away. I think I heard some of my fellow speakers earlier. In the first, again, few weeks of the pandemic, when we were on lockdown and we had to shift, we had to really, really consult our clients. No one has ever been through this before. No one knew what to do from a communication perspective. What do we do? What do we go out with? How do we stop our plans? We had plans. We had quarterly plans. We had campaigns that were supposed to run. Everything stopped. Everything, was put on the shelf. We had to adapt to the new world. And I think what happened was we realized the power of digital communication. I think an important lesson we learned also is how we stick to our main core responsibility of being consultants to our agents. And this is where the consultancy comes in. We're consultancies. We consult our clients. We tell them what we need to do. Do they need to boost their SEO? Do they need to do a campaign with influencers? Do they need to do an activation that goes viral? This is the role of PR right now. It's no longer just writing press releases and getting media over for a round table. That's still part of it, but it's dying, I'm telling you. Now, give you an example of a consultancy, of course, the consulting part. For one of our automotive clients, when the pandemic started, a lot of sectors here in Dubai shut down. The malls shut down. A lot of offices, we left the office. We worked from home. We're still working from home. This is our 9th week now. I hope everyone's staying safe, by the way. But there were certain sectors that were exempt and were given some leniency. Such as one of them was the automotive sector. One of our clients, they actually allowed them to open their showrooms for certain hours and by adhering to certain measures. And the client said, great, we need to get people in. We need to take advantage of this, that we're one of the few businesses that are open. We need to get people into the showroom. And we were like, no, that's not the right thing to do. You don't do that now. The whole world is telling you to stay home. As a brand, we have to be very ethical. We have to do the right thing. We consulted our clients for 4 weeks to only send out messages to their staff, making sure that they're staying safe, giving them information, raising awareness through video, through content, through even a virtual video conference call by the CEO to all the staff. We started issuing social media content, telling people how we miss them, and that when everything is okay, then we want them to come back to the showroom. And we asked them to go to our website and learn more about our products. And if they need anything, they can just call us from far away. We did campaigns about the safety measures and what to do in this time. So this is the role of consultancies. I'm not sure how much more time I have, but I think if I go to the next slide and we talk about the future, I think the future is very interesting. If I'm going to also give another example, like I did before, what we're doing right now with content is we are in more control. In the past, we didn't have enough control. We would send out a press release and tell our client there was 90,000 readers that read this newspaper. We don't know how many people read it. We don't know how many people actually read through the entire article that we published. And we don't know what the effect was. And at the end of the day, it's AVE, and that was it. Right now, the control we have is amazing. What we do now is we go programmatic. So we have the ability to take content, whether video or even in the form of editorial, and through programmatic solutions, put it online through a stream of traffic that through geo-targeting, look at these words I'm using. I've only started using these words in the last year. Target specific audiences wherever I want in the world, based on the message that I want to get across, based on the target audience that resonates with my clients. And this programmatic PR allows me to target these people, and through geo-targeting, once I get their attention and once they click on my video or on my content, I've captured their data. And I can then geo-fence, that's another word, a fancy word. And then through geo-fencing and through geo-targeting and through PR, programmatic PR, I can make sure that my content reaches the exact person and the exact persona of my target audience. This is what we're doing now in the UAE. I'm sure we're doing it all over the world. It's such an interesting time we live in. Data is king. This gives us data now that we can collect and use for our clients. But of course, we have to do it ethically. I think Maya is giving me a sign to wrap it up. I'm not sure how much time I have, but I think, yeah, this is the future. And I'm going to leave it with this. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I'm going to maybe open it for a few questions if there are any.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Tariq. That was really good insight. I just wondered, since you're in Dubai, are there any aspects of social media usage in the Middle Eastern region which you think are unique or different to other bits of the world? Do you have to tweak things because the audiences and the way that consumers use social media is different?
Look, yeah, absolutely. Look, what's interesting in the Middle East, and let's take Dubai as an example, is the mix of the audience. In the UAE alone, we have 197 nationalities. In Dubai alone, we have about 160 nationalities, all living together peacefully in one city. So as a brand, if I'm going to target, if I have a campaign, I cannot have one message and one narrative. I have to use different messages, different narratives for different segments of the audience. And I have to use different tools because different segments of the audience use different platforms. They consume content differently. Some people are on Twitter, some people are on Snapchat is still big here. We have a huge following of Snapchat in Saudi Arabia, for instance. TikTok is going off the charts right now, and YouTube is still #1, whereas Facebook took a dip, for instance. So it's interesting the change we have here that's happening in the region. But yeah, the most interesting thing is how we're embracing it all. And I think with the technology and this whole globalization and the way that I'm sitting here and talking to you, Maya, and then other people, I was listening to someone in New York. This just means that we can, in this part of the world, be part of the overall conversation.
Absolutely. We've got a question from somebody online. In this time of crisis, should you look to be innovative on digital and social, or stick to what you know?
Absolutely innovative. Look, everyone is going digital. Everyone is going social. If you're not innovative, if you're not creative, you will not stand out. There is so much content out there. Google is telling us that the attention span of someone online right now is 1.3 seconds. If you don't capture them in that 1.3 seconds, you've lost them. Without being innovative and creative, there's no way you will be able to capture your target audience. And that's why you have to stay quick to change. You have to adapt to change. You have to look at what's new. But at the same time, innovative doesn't mean you have to go crazy. It can be a simple idea as long as it just make sure that it does actually send the message across, reach the right person, right target audience, and that person does actually, it resonates with them. That's I guess what it is in a nutshell. I hope I answered the question.
Are brands trying to reach audiences with different sorts of messages at the moment and connect with them in different ways because it's not business as usual?
Absolutely. Look, now this is where the role of PR agencies is needed more than ever. This is, I think, what we're witnessing right now is the opposite of what used to happen. In the past, a lot of the activities that we do were reactive to client requests, to things that are happening. Now, the clients are expecting proactive agencies that will tell them what to do because no one knows what to do, to be honest with you, right? No one knows what's right from wrong. We are in a testing period right now. We're learning as we go. But like I said in the beginning, in my presentation, PR, we have to stick to our ethical role. We have a very important role right now to play to educate our clients, educate our brands on what they must do in this time and how they must put aside their corporate hat and think from a human side, a social side. This is where CSR comes into play big time. This is where thought leadership. People need to hear from others and sort of learn and benefit from others. So this is how important our role is as agencies, as PR professionals right now.
And in terms of another question specifically from a viewer today about the Middle East, how do you connect with the large migrant populations in the region as opposed to citizens? Is there a different approach there?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, the thing, again, the UAE, I think, is a bit unique. There's a huge, of course, expat community here. The British, for instance, if we take that, huge expat British community here versus, for instance, the Indian community. And then you've got the Arabs. Even the Arabs are different in the way you deal with them. and then you've got people from all over the world, and then the UAE citizens. The UAE, look, and the citizens of the Gulf. The great thing that's happening now in this part of the world is the average age, Maya. The average age is quite low. Yeah. There's a whole new generation that is very much aware of what's happening globally. It's we're no longer in this closed bubble, right? So we are, I think what's happening right now, and I hope this is happening, is that I think other parts of the world are actually opening their eyes towards us and seeing, oh wow, okay, it's not all negative and doom and gloom like we see in the media and on certain news channels I'm not going to mention, but there's people there that we can connect with. There's people that are like-minded. There's some interesting things happening there. And I think the local community, especially the citizens of the GCC, are surprising us every single day with their forward thinking, with their appliance of modern ways, with their openness. Look, one thing about the UAE is the tolerance, Maya. Imagine a country that is as small as the UAE, with 200 nationalities living peacefully. We're about to celebrate this year. We're celebrating the 49th year of the establishment of the UAE. 49 years, 200 people, 200 nationalities living peacefully. It's all about tolerance, all about getting together. I think it's an example for the world, the UAE, and how we can really, really all come together as a global nation, I would say, work together for the better of the humankind.
That's really interesting. And just to that point, a lot of the biggest PR contracts in the region are government-led and government funding. There's huge transformational projects going across the region, which we write about fairly frequently. I've got a question here. Governments are still mostly committed to the press release formula in the region. Do you think governments will eventually catch up with all this kind of new exciting stuff and move on in a more digital and social way with their comms?
Look, I tell people, as horrific this pandemic is, there are some benefits from it. I think one thing is clients, especially the government clients, have realized the importance of shifting now to more new age, what I like to say, new age tactics, moving away from, look, there's certain protocols that are still going to be in place. Give you an example. The UAE, the Dubai, government newspaper, the official newspaper called Al Bayan, had to shut down its print issue temporarily. So now for the last 5 weeks, we've been getting only PDF issues sent by WhatsApp. All you got to do is subscribe through WhatsApp and you get the official newspaper every day delivered to you on WhatsApp in the morning as a PDF. Not even in the morning, it comes to you at like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So I don't know if we're going to go back to reading the newspaper anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and this is the government newspaper, official government Dubai newspaper. So I think this is all a very big test, a very big challenge of what's to come. I think the government has seen the power of social media, the power of video content, the power of programmatic, and how we could reach there. Look, in a pandemic, the most important thing is speed. You have to be quick to respond. By the time you by the time you draft a press release, proofread it, get it approved, send it out, get it covered the next day, and people read it. You could have already sent out 4 videos and got the message across. You know what I mean? So.
Yes, I'm on the receiving end of quite a lot of it, so I know exactly what you mean. All the new language, you said you've only been using some of these terms for a year. Do you think, how well understood do you think the next wave of digital and social is by the PR industry globally?
Well, I'm not sure globally, but I mean, I see campaigns online. I see a lot of white papers. I read a lot of articles about the PR industry. And look, I think we are now in the front seat, to be honest with you. I mean, there was a time when PR, I think, took a back seat. I think advertising, creative, they were kind of the leaders in the marketing discipline, where it should have been the opposite. Look, Cicero and Bernay, our agency name, Cicero, in the Roman times, was using propaganda to change people's perceptions, right? Bernay, Edward Bernay, one of the most famous lecturers on PR. Look how far back we've been doing great things in brand perception. So PR now is back, I think, in the front row. We're leading, because now what's happening is our clients are telling us to come together as agencies, right? We're doing virtual conference calls with 20 people. We've got the PR agency, we've got the social media agency, we've got the creative agency, and everyone's together. And we always find ourselves as PR leading the conversation. We're creating the narrative. We're telling them when to say what and to whom and how to say it. we're not going to get involved in their business. No, they can be, you know, they're doing their creative stuff, they're doing their great, amazing social media stuff, but we are taking the front seat. And I think globally, PR has really taken it to the next level globally. And I think even in the Middle East, we're catching up now. The importance of PR is all the way from the leadership, from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, the ruler, to the government, to the private sector. Everyone now believes in the power and the necessity of PR. And I'm very happy and looking forward to the future.
That's really encouraging. Okay, I've got one final question for you. Do you think TikTok is here to stay, and should comms teams be using it properly like they now are with Instagram?
Oh, good question. Look, I'm still not on TikTok. Like I told you, I need to get on to find out more about it.
I wanted to see one of your dances, Tariq.
No, look, I mean, maybe I get one of my daughters to dance, but but look, I mean, I don't know. TikTok, it seems that it's taken us by storm, right? I think if we use it in the proper ways, like I said, it could be a fantastic tool. And I think, yes, by the way, from what I've seen and the amount of people telling me about it and all this talk about it, I think it's here to stay for a few years, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay, brilliant. Tariq, thank you so much again for joining us at the virtual summit today. Yeah, we'll see you around.
Thank you very much, Maya. Thank you, everybody. Stay home and stay safe.